Hey everybody, happy Saturday. How's everybody doing? What's everybody up to? You picnicking, having fun, going out? So since it's summer, I'm going to talk about barbecue sauce. Yes, barbecue sauce. I'm actually going to walk through my hot and spicy barbecue sauce. Now this is a barbecue sauce that I've actually sold at farmers markets. I've won lots of friends and influenced lots of people with this one. Hey, David, welcome. We're going to talk about spicy barbecue sauce. When my sister first started doing chain mail, and I would encourage her to go to farmers markets or carnivals or local festival areas, she didn't have, because she was just starting out, she didn't have a big product base developed yet to have out for these shows. And she said, I'd never be able to fill up a booth. I said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't I make some of my barbecue sauce and I'll try to sell that, and maybe we'll sell a few things in Mother's handcrafted, crocheted, knitted items, and we'll fill up a booth. So that's what we did. For the first couple of years of her business, we would fill up her little car or Mom's little car or our truck with a mixture of things. And one of the things that I sold a lot of was this hot and spicy barbecue sauce. And it started because I was exposed to, what's that Mexican?
Qdoba.
Qdoba. There we go. I was exposed to Qdoba, what was it, 10, 12 years ago, maybe even 17 years ago. Oh my goodness. I'm really old all of a sudden. And what we would do is they had this spicy barbecue sauce, and you could get it in the burritos. And I fell in love with it. And I'm like, Jay, we have got to make something like this so that we can have it at home. And so I started tinkering with a barbecue sauce recipe from the early 70s that I used to make when I was a little Spitfire and playing in Mom's kitchen many, many moons ago, obviously. And it was really interesting because I just started playing with that. It was the only barbecue sauce recipe that I'd ever seen. Hey, Missy! This barbecue sauce is not keto friendly. I apologize, but it's really, really tasty. I grabbed that 70s recipe for barbecue sauce and I started to play with it to try to get this spicy one like Qdoba used to have. By the way, Qdoba doesn't do that spicy barbecue sauce anymore, and I don't eat at Qdoba anymore. I haven't since they took it out. So any sauce, any barbecue sauce, normally starts with, especially a U.S. version, an American version of barbecue sauce has a basis of ketchup. That's most sauces out there will start with one base, and then you add to it. American barbecue sauce is ketchup, some kind of vinegar, some kind of sweetener, and then whatever spices you want. So it's actually pretty easy. And to go out and to buy barbecue sauce, make it at home. I mean, it's so much fun. Hello, Wayne, lover. We're talking about barbecue sauce. And so really make barbecue sauce at home. I mean, this basic barbecue sauce to start with that I started with was ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, apple cider vinegar, and some sweetener, and then some chili powder. And I was making that at age 9. So this is my hot and spicy one. Like I said, when my sister and I were traveling for her business, and I was selling this on the side, she would have all the ladies on one side of the tent looking at the jewelry and the chain mail and talking about different stuff. And I had all the men on my side of the booth. And I had little cut up pieces of chicken breast and all these sauces. And then I also used to sell that granola that we did a couple weeks ago. But that was really hard because I vacuum sealed the granola. So it looked like a big log of, and it just didn't present well at the farmer's market. So it's hilarious. But then I would have all the men on my side of the tent sampling barbecue sauce. And I sold a lot of barbecue sauce at these different festivals and stuff. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run through the recipe. I'm going to mix up an original batch here with the hot and spicy, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like after you cook it down a little bit. Oh my gosh, Carla! How are you? Oh my God, I can't believe how old your kids are already. It just is amazing. I love you. I miss you. We live in the same area, and I never get to see you, even before COVID, but I know. All right, so we're talking hot and spicy barbecue sauce. Here we go. I'm going to actually start with dissolving some of the ground spices in some. Now this makes a big batch, okay, you guys, and I'll show you because it'll take up most of this pan. This pan is like there. See, yeah, it'll take that up. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is put 10 tablespoons of Worcestershire and 12 tablespoons of white vinegar. Now I do several. Hello, Aunt Gail. We're talking hot and spicy barbecue sauce today. And this is 4 cups of water. I just want to rinse this out. I pre-measured everything, obviously, so you guys don't have to be bored watching me count teaspoons and tablespoons. All right, so again, this is 10 tablespoons of Worcestershire, 12 tablespoons of white vinegar. Now, when I do this with my sweet and savory, I don't use white vinegar. I use a different flavor vinegar. So that's the way it goes. Like I said, you got to play with this stuff. It's really simple, but it's fun to play with it because you could throw fruit juice in here, lemon rind, lime rind, and make different flavors of sauces. All right, so the Worcestershire, the vinegar's in here. 5 teaspoons of salt. Again, now if you're watching your salt or you have high blood pressure, cut back on that salt. You know what? It's not really going to affect the flavor much because you've got salt in the Worcestershire, you've got salt in the ketchup, you've got salt in the chipotle peppers with the adobo sauce that we're going to put in a little bit. So you can cut back on some of that salt. Just the same thing as you can cut back on sugar and not notice it. Hey, Fred, I'm making barbecue sauce. I'm making the spicy, my hot and spicy barbecue sauce. Everybody, this is Fred. Fred is our pit master, which we are going to grill meat and smoke meat with him sometime soon. And Fred, I'm going to save you one of these jars of sauces because you're just fabulous. This man, you guys, I told you about him a couple weeks ago. He is amazing. He does roast his own coffee. He's just amazing. It's great. So when you get to see him, when we do the smoked meat stuff, you're going to love him. You're going to love him as much as I do. He's a riot. So anyway, we got the salt in there. Now 6 teaspoons of dried mustard. Some recipes will say to use prepared mustard, and you can. You know what? This is just what I developed. You can play with it. Tinker. Don't be afraid to tinker. So it comes out kind of crappy. You know what? Feed it to the neighbors. Throw it out. What's the matter? You know, we're just talking some spices and some ketchup, really, is all barbecue sauce is. All right, so we got the dried powder in there, mustard powder. That was 4 teaspoons of chili powder. All right, and now we're going to do 4 teaspoons of onion powder. What I really want to do is play with this recipe with whole vegetables and see if I can get it to come out the same or as good, if not better. And now we're going to put some garlic in here. 3 teaspoons of garlic. Because what I really want to make is I want to make a Mexican-inspired ketchup. And I just haven't tinkered with it enough. I haven't made the time to really get in there. All right, now this with the hot and spicy, I add 2 sweeteners to it. I find it gives it more of a rounder taste, a bolder taste. So I put in a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And then I put in, anchos. 6 teaspoons of ancho chili powder. Now you can use the whole, yes, you are correct, Wayne, you're so smart. It does 8 tablespoons to equal a 1/2 cup. You are correct. But when I was developing the recipe, we ate barbecue sauce for so long, it was almost like it was in lotion bottles or something around, because I would make one and it would have 3 teaspoons. Well, it wasn't quite enough, so then I have to add another teaspoon, so that's why everything's in multiple teaspoons. And then I also add honey. I add, as Wayne said, a half a cup. It's 8 tablespoons of honey, half a cup of honey. Now this is, of course, our honey that we get from our bees. So all we've ever done to this honey is strain out the bee parts. And it is nice, and it's clover. It's all off of an organic farm that is not putting any chemicals, and we don't smoke them or anything. So nice and thick and delicious. All right. Now, as you can see, I don't have this over heat yet. I'm just kind of dissolving all the dry ingredients. And now I put in water, and when we started making sauce, I always like, why put water in it to only boil the water out of it to thicken the sauce? And I kind of figured it out because I tried it without adding the water in, and it just was not the same. The water kind of dissolves the spices and the ingredients, and then it makes it so everything, I don't know, kind of, it dissolves and works in with the whole sauce. It makes it come together, if you will. All right, and then 6 cups. Hey, Pang! Good to see you. I hope Dan's doing well. 6 cups of ketchup. And see, even like, even if you do like an Oriental barbecue sauce, you know, like a Korean rib or something like that, it's the same basic thing. They use the hoisin sauce, which is basically just ketchup, kind of, with different seasoning, and then they'll add vinegar, or they add fish sauce, which is a vinegar type of thing. And see, it's all the same. We are all people, and we are all the same. It doesn't make a difference. But that's the basic of a sauce. So then I put in these 6 cups of ketchup. Now I've tried this with generic ketchup. I've tried it with Heinz ketchup. I've tried it with big industrial cans of ketchup. We're making hot and spicy barbecue sauce, something your husband would not like, and something I have sold a lot of at farmers markets. As a matter of fact, now after making 2 batches here, I'm going to have a lot for sale. So I know my friend Scott, Stephanie, if you're watching or you watch later, I'm going to have barbecue sauce for sale, because I will can this later. Which this is the first thing I ever really canned, by the way, too. It was really interesting. He's out cleaning the barn, yeah. That'll keep him busy for a while, though, Pang. And then, so besides the ancho chili that is in here, like I said, you can get the ground chili, or you can get the dried ancho chili peppers. You can buy them just whole. They've dried them. You can throw the whole pepper in here, too, because we use the wand blender to make it smooth. So, here are those ancho chilies. These are chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. And normally you get them in the small cans, or like 7.5 ounce cans. And just put the whole thing in. Just dump the whole thing in. And this one actually was a big can. I divided in half. So, because I have the one in there. Yes, you will like this, and I will have a jar of it for sale, or when you come over, maybe when we grill, we can I can put some of this out, because I'll have some. All right, so we have all the sauce together. Now, typically what I do is I'll just cook this for a little while until things start to get warm and those peppers start to loosen up, and then I take the wand blender in and I just and make it so it's smooth, because one, I like smooth. I am not you guys know I'm a picky eater, so anything chunky is not for me. So I just puree it. I leave everything in there. I don't strain it then and get the seeds out if there's any in there, but I do puree it till it's smooth. Now, and the important thing, if you use whole ancho chili peppers that have been dehydrated and you put them in here, you definitely want this to get hot before you go to wand blend it, or you could put it in like a Ninja Bullet, or blender to smooth it. But I would make sure that you want it hot or really good and warm, because those dried peppers, if you use the dried peppers, they're not going to, if you just stick a wand blender in now and we had it in there. Hey Beth, how you doing? I'm making some good spicy, hot and spicy barbecue sauce. And we were just talking about how with dried peppers, if you put them in here, you want it to get warm, because then they will blend and they will go smooth. If you try to do it when you just throw it in, those dried peppers, they'll make a mess of your blender or your wand blender or anything, and they won't puree and get smooth for you. So after you get it warmed up and you put it on the blender, put it in the blender, you cook it down, this is what you get. A nice thick, I'm going to tilt them up there, Jay. It's a thick, see how I've cooked out a lot of the water, so it's nice and thick. And this whole pan, this pan is over half full of sauce. So that big recipe, starting with the 6 cups of ketchup, will give you a great big thing. And another reason why I make it in a big batch is because I've made them in smaller batches, and 2 days later we look at each other and go, how can we be out of barbecue sauce already? So I make it, if I'm not bottling it, I just cook it down to where I like it. I put it in containers and put it in the fridge. I'll even put it in, jars and put it in the fridge. But because I've got so much here, I'm going to can it later today. Once I get that one cooked down and everybody's cooked down to nice thick consistency. And then I'll be able to just store it like anything else that you can, just in the garden, in the garage, on the shelf, in the cupboard. But that is the basic. Don't let barbecue sauce or teriyaki sauce or Korean barbecue sauce or any of those sauces scare you guys, because really all it is it's a formula of ketchup or a base bottle sauce that's already happening with some vinegar and some sweetener. That's really all it is. Then play with the spices that you like. If you're a huge garlic fan, throw a crap load of garlic in there and let her rip. If you want a barbecue sauce that's got an orange flavor to it, throw some orange zest in there and some orange juice. Then just cook it down. You really will have success. It is really that simple. So this is nice, and this has got a spice in the front of your tongue, and then it has a spice at the back of your throat as well. It is a very nice sauce. And like I said, I have sold many, many jars of this barbecue sauce out there. I even sold some, David, to people that live in Chicago that would come up to Door County. I used to sell it up in Door County. And they would take it down to Chicago, and then I'd get phone calls or emails or different things. Or people would say something on my sister's website. Hey, is your sister still selling sauce? I need some sauce. So, it was very fun. So I am going to really, that's all. I just wanted to share my spicy barbecue sauce. Like I said, I do other ones, but this is my hot and spicy. And I'm going to cook this down till it's nice and thick. And then, Beth, once I get it canned, I'll send a jar over to you. Pang, I'll have some around for you guys. And Scott and Steph, if you watch this later, I'll have it for sale at church too. So you guys have a great day. Go enjoy yourself. Just enjoy the weather. It's gorgeous up here in Green Bay. Nice, sunny, and a pleasant temperature. So we love you guys. Have a great day, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Bye, everybody.